Welcome to a Gladiator deck tech and tournament gameplay video. I just won a weekly event with the 3-0, or I don't know if I won yet. Tiebreak. There's going to be one other 3-0 player, so I might come in second. But 3-0, won all my matches. In the wake of the Field of the Dead ban, unban. The strip mine ban, Field of the Dead unban. I'm on Field of the Dead and Ramp. And I think Ramp is pretty freaking busted currently. I think it was very good without Field of the Dead. And adding Field of the Dead to this deck is kind of just like pouring gasoline on a fire. We hadn't had a lot of events, so it's not like Ramp has been dominating stuff, but it's been very good. Teamer was good before we took the break. And Edge of Eternities gave us a lot of really good tools. Like Ice Till Explorer is absurd in getting you two extra. It can get you an extra. It gives you an extra ramp, but it can give you two extra ramps if you don't have a land in your hand and you pull two lands out of your graveyard. Just like go from not being able to get to 7 lands for Field of the Dead to get way up there. And obviously, strip mine being banned. The strip mine meta was very different in that it sort of masks the power of the ramp decks have to get to absurd land counts in the format currently, because they were strip mining you 3 times, but that's like 3 land drops you could have to get to absurd land counts. And that's the thing. And these decks were good. Like, strip mine had to be banned because the decks that tutored for strip mine were really good. So you saw strip mine all the time. If there weren't tools to get to find any land in your deck, strip mine might have been okay. I mean, it would still probably be banned because the feel bads of the turn 1 non-games or whatever. But we've got another card to talk about with that. So yeah, that's the thing. And the reason I do think this is a problem is Ramp, when it's good, is the end game. It goes over the top of everything. Ramp hasn't been good in Gladiator for a very long time, but it's been getting better, and Edge of Eternities specifically has kind of put it over the top, in my opinion. So let's start to get into some cards. Yeah, so you're obviously your end game Field of the Dead stuff. Primeval Titan is now absurd. You're often I have the suite of creature tutors, Finale, Invasion, Nature's Rhythm, and often what I'm getting are Ice Till Explorer, because that just churns your deck, or Primeval Titan. If you're there, then you get to just do the thing. I'm also on Golos, but Golos is probably cuttable, if I'm being real. But it is good. I do like the redundancy. You might notice my lands. The approach I took when building this, which I started after Debutter mind broke me with Teamer Ramp when I was on Esper, and I was like, all right, this is not. I just need to be on Ramp. These Ramp decks are just broken. And my starting approach was I wanted to play Raphaelos, so adding every forest, And I wanted to be on Field of the Dead. So I started 5-color, and I had White of the Reliquary and Knight of the Reliquary and 4-color Omnath. That was pretty good, but I have tightened up the mana base to be more Simic focused with black and with splashes. Got splash for black with because I think Grist is absurd with all your creature tutors. Dragonback Assault is if it's in play, it's a more absurd Field of the Dead effect. And I cut those back, and then I also just added Atraxa, because if you're in a grinding game and you can tutor into Atraxa, that's just like just an absurd amount of card advantage if you're actually at like in a grindy game. And part of the reason, so that's one thing. Like your standard ramp into prime time and Field of the Dead. That's like level 1. The other reason these decks are absurd is because Channel is fucking broken. And it's been fine because the green decks haven't been good. But now that this green deck is quite good, you just get to free roll Channel, which gives you, turn 2 Emrakul, turn 2 the Endstone, turn 2 Ugin. Golos is not a great one. Or, turn 3 or 4, probably 4. Absurd. This one's a little more speculative, but Finale, Invasion, Nature's Rhythm, Doppelgang at the start is still great, and like all these X spells that you just get to play because you're ramping, then pair great with Channel. So you just get also your end game is great, and you also get free wins off Channel if you have a good Channel hand. Then I'm also playing I'm playing Green Nadu with Nadu, Scythecat Cub, Bristly Bill. I'm even on Retreat to Kazandu. I kind of added this because I wanted the life gain as much as anything, but the 1/1 counters also, they're good at when you're popping off to just make one creature absurd and kill your opponent like a turn early. It happens sometimes. This one's a little, again, this is one of the more flex spots in the deck. And also Genomorph Imago. This is an absurd card. Like, so you also just have games where you get Genomorph and Bill on like turn 2 and 3, and you just kill your opponent with you're the beatdown. So you have combo wins, you have grind, and you have aggression. Now, you can draw the wrong part of your deck early, and people can get under you. So I don't think it's like the world is on fire. Like you are, a red deck can just murder you faster. But for mid-range, I think this is actually a problem. I think if you're playing a grindy game, you're kind of out of luck if you're not on some of this ramp stuff, because it just goes over the top of you so hard. And playing, Barrow-goyf seemed like is a problem if everyone's just on 3-drops. But if you're just blocking it forever with 2/2s, it's not a big deal. I don't really care how much life you're gaining. Realistically, if you're not threatening, if you're not, putting a phoenix on your Varaglyph and hitting me in the air. Like if those are like the ways you die. So that was sort of where I came from. Just like all the ramp, all the land ramp. I then like I cut Avacyn's Pilgrim when I cut white. You could be on Avacyn's Pilgrim. I probably should be on Chromox. I'm not on Chromox in this list that I won with. I realized after the fact. I put in Jet Collector to give me another avenue on, late game grind stuff. So you can grind with the graveyard decks. Ice Steel Explorer is really good at enabling Jet Collector. Just your cards just are just working together. Lotus Cobra when you get going is absurd. Malevolent Rumble, probably one of the weaker ones, but can make you hit a land drop and jump you a mana to play a stupid thing or tutor for something. Springheart Nantuko is another absurd magic card. You can, copy your prime times or whatever, or just even a, Genomorph. And also it just goes infinite with Nissa. So there's that. Ambassador of the Vendo. I don't think I saw this in this set, but if you're in a grindy game, this is also an absurd effect. I don't think this card has kind of gotten talked about enough, although it's obviously he played in insects. But when so many of my lands are a thing I can tutor for, it doesn't even take like a fancy like primetime trigger to find this land sometimes. I find you generally, although I do find you're generally killing your opponent before this comes up, but if you got into a grindy game, this would be crazy. Awaken the Woods, I just found this funny. I wanted another Expel. This is also this is kind of experimental. I haven't cast it yet. I'm being real. It did not come up in the game. Doppelgang. Shout out to Butter again. This card is absurd. It's absurd. When you ramp into it, when you clone your Field of the Dead, clone your Primeval Titan, clone your Agent of Treachery. Crimes. When you can just get to big mana, you can do crimes. I've got a Balaged Recovery to get a thing back. I've got a Bridgeworks Battle. Nissa is just like Lotus Cobra. Timeless. I'm on Timeless Provisioner and Tireless Tracker for the triggers. Wary Zone Guard. Just a absurd 3-drop, really strong. Does exactly what you want your deck to do in that it ramps you and also will just kill your opponent if they're or block. Like it kind of just does everything. Eldritch Evolution, absurd. You're looking to sack a 2-drop to get to an Ice Tail quickly, usually. Eternal Witness, just a glue card. Not like totally necessary in this deck, I think, but nice to have. It's a new addition to the format. Love to see it. Great card. Archdruid's Charm. Very versatile. I've used the fight effect probably maybe more than I've used the tutor effect. Which sometimes you just need that because since we have like no removal. Speaking of no removal, we have Grist though. Tutorable. It's tutorable if you need if you don't have the ability to just go for it, you can tutor grist and get into a grindy game where you have inevitability. So you like to be there. Again, Nadu, absurd, broken, busted magic card. Uro, it's Uro. It's, you know, it does what you want. I will say I'm only on 35 lands, which I don't love in like my growth spiral explore deck, but you need action. So I don't know the right. The other thing I'll say, I don't think this list is like 100% tuned. I built it like yesterday. But yeah, in Court of Calling another tutor. I'll get to that. Mythweaver Pock, you know, it just does funny things. If you copy your Field of the Dead with this, you're just like laughing. You're just laughing. Sowing Mycospawn gets you Ancient Tomb. The fact that we also have Ancient Tomb, come on, or Field of the Dead, and you know can take your set your opponent back a turn. Ice Tail Explorer. I've loved this. This card is really good. It's really good, and it's one of the reasons I think this deck is so good. I think this is core to like this deck functioning. I'm on Scape Shift. Again, you can just do broken things. Obviously, you have to get to sort of mid-late game to get to the 7 lands for Scape Shift to matter. So that's always worth thinking about. Nissa is like just in league with Raphaelos. If we're on Forest specifically, we get to do absurd things, and again, it goes infinite with Springheart and Tuco. Although it's like it's not because you have to click so much on Arena. It's like just it's large, not infinite. As much as you can get before the timer runs out. How fast can you? I don't know. I was trying to click and wouldn't let you click so far. Overlord, just a solid ramp spell. That's a body. Golos. Ancient Green Warden. So I had the Crucibles in for a bit, and I cut them because I just decided you don't need them. They're much weaker without Strip Mine. With Strip Mine, you just play all of them. But when we're trying to get up to high line counts, they're good. Like replaying your fetch over and over again is obviously powerful. But you don't never need the second one. So I'm satisfied having Ice Tiller and Green Warden, which kind of are in. Ice Tiller is in the slot to like get you to where you're going, and Green Warden is in the slot where when you're there to like, you know, if your Field of the Dead gets blown up, to grab it, get it back or something, just to have more outs, and also like, you know, doing the churn. But like we're not. I'm not on all the play an extra land every turn effects either, because those cards, when they're working correctly, they're really good. But in a lot of, they're really weak cards if they're not, you know, doing the thing to get, you're not getting to the next step immediately. Dragonback Assault. That landfall trigger is just absurd. Like, I'm splashing for it. I'm playing my one stomping ground just for this card. And that's another one. Like, I had Ren. I thought about Ren in 6. And that card's just not good in this deck. It doesn't ramp you. It was great when you had Strip Mine, but I don't think it's good in this deck. it doesn't do what you need. I mean, like the effect of getting your land to your hand every turn is like pretty weak for a card you have to splash for. I'm gonna skip these for a sec. So I'm on the Endstone, Ugin, and Emrakul. And again, primarily these are free rolls with channel, but also you can tutor for Emrakul if you have an absurd amount of mana. But also, like, you can just, it gets cast. I've just, you cast Emrakul, and it's fun. It's fun to hard cast Emrakul. It doesn't cost 13 mana when you cast it. This deck isn't like the best at reducing Emrakul. I don't have like a ton of artifacts in my graveyard, but it's not the worst either. You can cast Emrakul is totally castable. Ugin's a little. It's not the best in this deck because you don't have a bunch of colorless spells to trigger its first effective for. But Planeswalker gains you life, puts the inevitability on the board, removes their best thing. Very strong. Only for 7 mana, it's really good. Like, that's, I think, the big difference between this Ugin and the other Ugin. The other Ugin is 8 mana, and it doesn't draw you cards or gain you life. Sometimes you want the mana for an X spell. And if you get to the ult, like, we're not getting a lot, but casting Emrakul is still pretty good. And then I have 3 cards. Okay, let's. Then I have 3 cards that I specifically put in because I was thinking about it. I was like, I think this deck is the best. So, I think ramp strategies are what I'm worried about. If someone's gonna, mono red me and come under me, today I would live with it. But this is the first day Field of the Dead is legal in an event, so people are going to be wanting to try the hotness. And also, it's good. Like, it's the exciting new thing to do, and it's really strong. So I wanted a few cards to tech into the mirror. So I play Agent of Treachery. Going all the way back, I'm going to Agent of Treachery, your Field of the Dead. Have fun. I really like Agent of Treachery with Fuel Tank Feaster. I think that's a fun. You play a Fuel Tank Feaster, and your agent just goes boop boop boop, waiting for a juicy one. And then Defense of the Heart. I was just thinking about my games, and I was just like, there's just a lot of games where my opponent has 3 or more creatures. And I would say that hasn't been a thing that I've felt a lot in, decks where I felt like I could play Defense of the Heart. Like, decks where I also have endgame targets that are worth putting in this enchantment that potentially does nothing. Like, I don't know. A lot of times you're worried about just dying before Defense of the Heart, but with ramp being a thing, the thing, like this, and I'm playing enough creatures that I can block long enough to stay alive. Whereas, like, a lot of the decks are like, I would want my opponents just building up a board, and on either I'm playing like Abzan and I just need all my things to be efficient and cheap, or I'm not playing that many creatures, and I'm not playing like top end stuff. But now we're playing top end stuff, so I will say that's a good difference. I was feeling for a while in Gladiator like 3 mana is kind of the cutoff for creatures. With decks just trying to be as efficient as possible, like with the Abs Index. And I will say, these ramp decks are not that, but they're just a different nightmare. So, I don't know. And you have to be in the green ramp mode. Well, the art you can do artifact ramp also is also pretty good. Now let's go over the lands. So, one of the things I'm thinking about is control. You know, someone just counter me. So I'm playing Mistrise Village. It's actually kind of free because I'm on all forests. I had this before I put in Island. Island was kind of later, and I'm on Cavern of Souls. And what you name on Cavern is, if you don't have something specifically in your hand, it's kind of up in the air. Like Elemental, Bird, Giant, because that's Uro and Primetime. Elemental. Angel. Insect. You know, human maybe, but probably not. It's more like just, you know, right here, right now, I'm going to make this thing uncounterable. Snow-covered island, I went with because of Into the North. I don't really want to be on islands. I want to be on forests. So, but because I didn't want to just lose to Blood Moon, I shifted the deck more towards blue-green. So I'm like, well, I'll play one island as a nod to the power of Blood Moon effects. To Blood Moon and Magus. I'm on 2 forests and 4 snow-covered forests. You want to be split because of Field of the Dead and also Kami of the Bamboo Grove generates you extra regular forests. So that's also worth thinking about. So this should probably be... There's like an argument that this should be 1-5 if you're gonna split, but 4-2 has felt fine. I've only run out of snowlands once, and I think it was before. I think I was on even fewer basics. I think I was on 1 and 3 or something when that happened. But Seiju kills opponents' Field of the Deads, kills artifacts and enchantments, which is a thing I am concerned about. You know, you want to be able to kill a Dragon Batch approach also, or whatever. Castle Garenberg, not the best in this deck because we have a lot of tutors that aren't actually creatures that we want to cast, but you know, being able to cheat up a mana. I'm not going to turn my nose up at it when it's in. It's a free roll to forest. Gate, I haven't used this gate like at all, I will say, but I like the option. I feel better having the Seek at my disposal if I'm gonna run out of gas. Shifting Woodland, this is absurd magic card. It's so powerful. If they kill your Primetime, then you turn this into a Primetime. Hit them back, they kill your Ice Till, you turn this into an Ice Till. I feel like there's another one. Turn it into an Endstone. Oh, there's just turn it into a Weary Zone Garden. That's all good with Weaverpock. A lot of good options. So again, I'm on forests, so I had the surveil lands in these colors before, but I've cut it down to just shocks. I don't know what's correct, I just wanted to be able to cast my spells, so I went to a Botanical Sanctum. Again, not thrilled about playing this, but I went for more. Sort of blue is my primary splash, so we'll play the blue thing, so I can play my Genomorph. It was really to play my Growth Spirals and Planar Genesis on time, as more than anything, any other reason. Hedge Maze, obviously good. Waterlogged Grove, again, just a thing you can loop with Ice Tail. I went on Zagoth Triome, just, again, in the aim of casting my spells rather than being on the black-green Surveil land. That was a choice I made. The World Tree just fixes all your problems late. Turns all your fetches into tappable lands, which is nice. Ancient Tomb, absurd magic card. Field of the Dead. I kind of think unbanning this was a mistake. I don't playing. I don't think this is the problem. I think this deck is actually just a problem, and you just gave it a really good tool that increases that. So I don't know that now was the right time. Like, before Edge of Eternity would have been a great time to unban Field of the Dead. I don't know that it would have seen play. It's very interesting to me just that now we spent a long time in a meta where Field of the Dead wouldn't have been good. It wouldn't be played. And it's being unbanned into like a perfect spot for it to be absurd and played a lot. Like, there's a lot of Field of the Dead into LFG. Let me tell you. A lot of it's, and I'm part of the problem. Because it is, it's also fun to build with the new card. But it's interesting how this is kind of, all those that drop, I think this has sort of outshined all of it now. Grist is nice. Parabrave is strong. But have you played with Field of the Dead? Ghost Quarter, again, I'm here for the mirror. I'm here to get rid of your Field of the Dead. Scavenger Grounds. This could be a Bajuka Bog, but I kind of like the ability to sack it and then rebuy it with an Ice Tail for another sack. I feel like one Bajuka Bog trigger at some point where you kind of can't control it is not that effective against the graveyard decks. If disrupting them is going to matter, you're going to want to be able to do it on your term, on a timing, and repeatedly. I love Starting Town, and then we have fetches. Yeah, so that's the whole deck tech, and let's get into the games. All right, let's get into. So this is my round 2. I just frankly forgot to record my round 1. So this hand's pretty bad. I'm gonna mulligan because it doesn't do anything. But this hand we're gonna keep. We're gonna fuel Tank Feaster on turn 2. Getting rid of Scape Shift because it doesn't do anything, and Agent of Treachery has synergy with Fuel Tank Feaster. Opponent's on mono blue, it looks like. We're gonna jam a turn 2 Nadu. Probably gets countered, but gotta work through the counter magic. Remand is interesting. Remand means we get to do it again. No land. So I'm gonna Malevolent Rumble. Grab this Cavern of Souls. And cast this Nadu uncounterable. That's just high rolling. Nadu gets swords. That's fine. Because we're here for inevitability. Eventually something will stick. Our deck is all questions. And playing a little slow, because I assume my opponent has a counterspell. Correctly. We're in no rush. We're under no pressure. Happy to never cast this Agent of Treachery unless there's like a juicy Planeswalker or some value engine to grab. Opponent's tapped out. So I'm thinking about what I want. Green Sun for Ice Till, maybe? No, because I don't have a... oh, I do have a land in my graveyard. Could have grabbed... Whatever, it looks like I'm grabbing Wary Zone Guard instead. Oh, okay. So I want to Springheart and Tuco onto my Wary Zone Guard. That's what I'm doing. I forgot. Part of me wanted to hold... I think it's much funnier to hold Springheart and Tuco for Agent of Treachery, but I decided to just apply the pressure now. Just completely fucked me up. I'm gonna go grab Jet Collector here. Gets ousted, and I'm gonna get hit with Ragavan. My doppelgang. Make sure I'm not tapping my black mana when I'm casting this. I might be supposed to immediately use the ability if it resolves, since it's sorcery speed. But yeah, let's get this Wary Zone Guard back. Or Ice Tail. Which one do I want? Ice Tail. Let's play some lands. Because Ice Tail blocks Ragavan. Oh, if I'd played that untapped, kind of a punt. I'm at 23. I could have taken the 2-hit. It's fine though. There's an argument that I shouldn't overcommit to the board, that I don't need to. Opponent's brain cert. They're looking for answers. We're big chillin'. Snapcaster. Grabbing swords. This is an interesting spot. What do you hit, right? After the game, my opponent Spaffs did say, he should have either targeted the Jet Collector or at least attacked with Ragavan, which I think I agree with. Attacking with Ragavan definitely seems right. And yeah, hitting Jet Collector would have been better if I'm just going to have Ancient Green Warden anyway for graveyard stuff. Now we can do Scythecat Cub things to make sure our 2/2s can block Ragavan. Well, you have to target the same thing with Scythecat Cub because it wants to double, I think. If it's the second time it resolves, it just doubles. It doesn't add a counter. Yeah. Trick about Scythecat Cub. Gotta blow up the gate land. And opponent has seen enough. We got a Raffello's hand. So this Utopia Sprawl kind of changes what I was planning on doing, but I decided to not play it this turn. Arguably, I mean, probably a mistake, but I just wanted to get the tap land out of the way. Now we can double spell. Utopia Sprawl into Overlord. And this Agent of Treachery is not really doing much chilling in my hand, but it's just here to be chilling, you know? It's fine. We're recovering his shift. Pock resolves. We've got all the mana for next turn. Plus, we have a lot of power on the board. Destroying Overlord and not Mythweaver is a choice. Yeah, there it is. There's the Wrath of God. There's the Day of Judgment. But, what if we just had another board? And basically equally as scary board immediately. While our land count ticks up. Dig through time. March, okay. One threat answered. Three cards left. Consider. Dreadhorde Arcanist. Let's surveil. Don't need that land. Another land. Fetch. And we're gonna resolve this this big X spell. We're gonna present a board. And I'm going to do it... There's an argument to do it pre-combat in case I got a hasty thing. But I'm going to do it post-combat, I think. Just to... I'm going to reconsider this. Because I want the 8 mana creature. I decide. Trusty Retriever. Getting back my Overlord. Sun Titan. Get me back a land. Value. So this is do you have another Wrath of God? And if they do, then I can just play Overlord and keep chilling. If any scary Planeswalker comes out, I got this Agent of Treachery. Cycling the Lorien Revealed. Not casting it to draw 3 cards. We need our mana for something else. Attacking with Dreadhorde to consider. Sacking our land. Now we're cooked. They're cooked. They're cooked. And that's that was my round 2. All right, final round. And we're kind of in the ramp mirror up against Teamer. Although our deck is a little different. This looks like a pretty good hand. Cameo, a card I'm not on in my list. Because we're tuned to be playing green mana dorks on turn 1. That's what we're in the business of doing. Alright, play this Lotus Cobra. Just here's some absurd. This is why Lotus Cobra is cracked. Where you get to cast it plus another. 3 mana worth of spells. Or 4 mana worth of spells? Unfortunately, I'm so cracked, I can't even use all this mana. I could have had that breeding pool could have been a surveil land. I'm losing out on value. Now we're kind of hoping our opponent taps out. Malevolent Rumble, that's great. That's not Counterspell. We're gonna have a very good Nature's Rhythm. I don't think our opponent is even on counter spells, really. I don't think Seismic was... Seismic might have been running one. No counter spells. I got confused with Archdruid's Charm is in the list. It's really only Cyclonic Rift for instant interaction. So we're pretty free to just do our thing. And I think if you're not on counter spells, Tamiyo is just much worse. I think part of the power of Tamiyo is, with the clues, is it giving you that resource where you can counter, or if they hold back, then you can draw a card. You know, on top of the powerful Planeswalker part. Kind of explaining why I'm not running it in this deck that's similar. Okay, so we're going to resolve this Ancient Green Warden first and figure out our tutor effect later. We can block this Tamiyo from getting any more clues. Own It has Ice Till. This is like we're drag racing down the strip, but I'm just a little bit out in front. A doppelgang though. Still, no Field of the Deads. No Field of the Deads. No channels. Just good, fair magic happening here. Well, Utopia Sprawl, that's just free. Counting mana sources. Figuring out what I need to play before I get field, I think. I think ideally I would like to have the Waterlog Grove untapped, but I didn't get there in a way I liked. Because I didn't want to crack the fetch land yet. Until after the Field of the Dead was in play. So now we got on. So we finally did prime time, tutor, prime time, field. And we have Ancient Green Warden, so we get double triggers. And we've got all this mana to tutor again. Because Nature's Rhythm is cool. So I'm figuring out the math on what I'm going to grab. I have like 9 mana. So I go down. I'm like trying to remember what's in my deck. And this Agent of Treachery is just here. Why tutor for Ice Till when I can take your Ice Till? Where are you going? So this hand's interesting. But we get to Prismatic Vista for a forest, Utopia Sprawl onto it. Next turn, grab a basic. And then maybe we're in business? Or we could draw Ancient Tomb? Ancient Tomb means this Nissa gets to come out even earlier. But it doesn't line up great with our Uro. So I'm just going to grab a basic and play this bug. And then next turn we can Nissa and Uro. Act me for 3? Yeah, that's fine. Not worry about it. Hit me for 4 even. No big deal. Oh, Springheart Nantuko. Beloved. So we get to play Uro. Could also play the enchantment or the Springheart Nantuko, which is also an enchantment. But I want to keep the Springheart Nantuko secret for now. Till I have a land drop to go off with it. We whiffed on land. Nadu. They have Nadu. They got Nadu Bill. Nadu Bill is in play. So I opt to let my Nissa go to 1 loyalty here. Because as long as it's alive, its loyalty doesn't actually matter. And now this Defense of the Heart is just taunting me. We don't have a land, so we can't go off with Springheart.
The land shall conquer you.
Me thinking about how much I can play versus how much I need blockers. And I should probably just pass with this forest untapped as another blocker. I'm not going to do that, but I think that's what I should have done. I don't think there was any need to play the Springheart Nantuko now. Because if the Nissa dies, I'm kind of out of luck. But really, I'm looking to... But again, the combo is kind of irrelevant. I'm looking to not die here. Because my opponent is popping off with Nadu Bell. I'll say, I think these counters should probably be going on that Birds of Paradise. But none of this solves the Defense of the Heart problem. Dig through time. Oh, but that's so much mana. So, Fuel Tank Feaster, I'm 100% blocking with. If I can get away with keeping the bug alive, the insect alive, though, I want to, because I can grab my funny line is Primeval Titan Nadu. Well, Primeval Titan Agent of Treachery, you're Nadu. Grab field. Grab the World Tree for You know, because why not? Now, all this is happening before I have a Nadu, because I did Ancient of Treachery instead of just grabbing my own Nadu. But whatever. It's not a big deal. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Or whatever that phrase is, that expression. Skin a banana. Because I don't know why you would want to. I don't know why you would want to skin a cat. It's so mean. But yeah, this is technically, you know, infinite, indefinite, arbitrarily large, but arena timer. Not that I'm on the clock. I have like this match went by very quickly. I have like 18 minutes on the clock or something. I'm just doing this because I can. Eventually, I need to stop this loop so I can do it in a way that's actually getting me the value I need. Which is going to be off this retreat, actually. And making this this forest a big boy. This is just fun, though. At this point, like, I'm clicking and nothing is happening. Like, it stopped working on that creature. Like, I can't. Arena is now, it's struggling. We're at arena struggle point. Alright, let this all resolve. Take Nadu. Alright, now we have Nadu. Now we draw. Okay, we drew a land. We're in business. Now I can start putting counters so that I can attack for lethal. We're just out here taking game actions. So yeah, it wasn't like Field of the Dead is why I won this game, or whatever. Field of the Dead isn't even being triggered. I don't have enough different lands. Which is kind of my thing with the unbanned. Like, I just think this deck is good. So it didn't need Field of the Dead. And Field of the Dead is like, you know, we're putting the whipped cream on the sundae or whatever. It's such a good hit off primetime. But yeah. That's that event. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see what Gladiator has for us in the future. Peace.